Hi, welcome back to my film and TV channel. You're all staying safe and well. We're going over to a Netflix series today that's called Boots. Yes, it's not a documentary on the chemists here in the UK. I don't suppose you have Boots in other territories, do you? You might, I don't know. Let me know, guys. Australia, Canada, New Zealand, USA, you name it. Do you have Boots? Yeah, certainly plenty of them here in the UK. But this isn't to do with Boots, the chemist. This is all about military training, the Marines, of course it is. This is classed as a military comedy drama. We'll talk about that in a moment. Created by Andy Parker, based on the memoir The Pink Marine, yes, by Greg Cope-White. Said it's now available on Netflix here in the UK, so check your territory's Netflix versions to find out availability. Got 8 longish episodes, about 50 minutes, perhaps a little bit too long for the content we get in this. And it was available from the 9th of October on Netflix. I'm doing this review on the 31st of October. So yes, happy Halloween, but been and gone by the time you watch this. There's always next year, isn't it? Well, this one will, 2025. I don't know about coming ones, of course. Nina Starmer of Looper website scored this 90 out of 100. Yes, she liked it. Ultimately said Boots has all the makings of a great show, a solid concept, a great cast, and pedigree in the form of legendary producer Norman Lear. It soars above and beyond, though, because of its emotional yet funny approach to admittedly serious material. Yet, all good then. Well, perhaps not. Nandini Belal of RogerEbert.com only scored it 40 out of 100 and said there is an overriding chipper tone to the writing thanks to Lear's momentous sitcom background. Really? Which doesn't fit the subject. I don't know the guy too much. An oversimplification of what military life was and is actually like for queer service members. Yes, that's the word we couldn't say years ago. We can say it again now. I'm getting old. I get all confused with these things. Despite the creator's best intentions. Yes, most seem to agree with that first critique. I'm a bit closer to the second. Yes, as you probably got a hint of that early on. Right, we'll have a look at this anyway. Before we do, guys, please, if you're still with me, hit that like button. It helps the algorithms, helps the channel, and much appreciated if you can help me out and hit that like button. Subscribe if you've not already done so. That helps, of course. And even more help if you can hit that type button on YouTube. Yeah, it's a new thing, fairly new now, a couple of months old as I'm recording this. And you have points, and you can share the points out to your favourite vlogs, etc. And that helps the algorithms as well. So if you can do that for me, guys, that'd be wonderful if you can do that. And there are other ways of helping the channel and me helping you, perhaps. But we'll talk about that later on before we go. Let's get back to looking at this series. What's it about? Well, Cameron Cope is a closeted gay teenager. I think we still say gay, can't we? I'm reading from what's been written, so hopefully I'm not saying anything untoward. My apologies if I do. From Louisiana, who follows his best friend Ray McAfee into the United States Marine Corps, as you would. Yeah, absolutely. Unlike the book, which is set in the 80s, this series is set in the 90s. And primarily follows Cope, McAfee and their fellow Marines during basic training. We have been here before. As well as Cope's mother. I quite like Cope's mother in this, as she copes with her son's decision to enlist. And a sergeant, of course, one of the sergeants, all evil bastards usually, aren't they? With his own personal challenges. Then they become all nice and cosy when these recruits make it, don't they? But what total bastards they are. I'm not too sure if the UK Marine sergeants are like that. I don't know. Not too many films or series about the UK ones. There you go, guys. Get it done. Anyway, this premiered on Netflix, as I said, on October the 9th, 2025. Stars Miles Heitzer, Max Parker, Vera Farmiga, one of my favourites, and Liam O starring in this, plus many others, of course. Right, my thoughts. Listen, I've been around the block a few times, and Marine Corps training has been covered many times to differing levels of satisfaction. Usually, there's not many I don't like that have covered this sort of genre, if you like. Films and TV series, of course, has been. Of course, the queer slant, which again probably been touched upon in others. gives us a slightly different angle to attack this one, but we've mainly been here before for me. But there's never any harm in another competent addition to the genre, and this certainly for me is just about that. I'm not going to rave over it. Some people are. I was a little surprised to see the word comedy included in the description, especially with the producer's sitcom background as well. I thought this was more drama. I got very little dramedy out of this, very little comedy. There's some humour, of course. You've got this, may stumble across some in the normal, I don't even know if I can say this anymore, or the gay in the village type theme, of course, only gay in the village type theme, of course, going back to a famous British comedy series. And there are a few weaknesses in this highly watchable cast, though none particularly left me enthralled in this. I thought they were okay. I wasn't blown away by anyone in this, which is a shame because there's some really gritty parts. There's certainly no skimping on production values. It's put together really, really well. Michael Savio from Paste website, magazine, website I think it is, scored this 62, so he was okay with it. He said, it's this uneasy negotiation between celebrating queer resilience and sidestepping the military's larger role in perpetuating harm, both within its ranks and across the globe, that keeps Boots stuck in the mud. Yeah, I think despite a serious subject matter, it never really goes all in. It never really fully expands, fully gets under the skin of what we're talking about, the subject matter. And when it does threaten to do that, it sort of just stops. It just sort of keeps on the periphery all the time, never really follows through with anything, as some of the classics in this genre have done over the last few years. I mean, I'd even go back to G.I. Jane, stuff like that, that have done this sort of thing, the movie, which isn't everyone's favourite, but I thought it was a cracking film. Lily Loughborough of Washington Post liked it, the paper and the website. 70 out of 100. She said, this is a story with a lot of heart, it is, but the ending comes too soon and leaves so much unresolved that the final beat doesn't quite persuade. She scored it 70 though, so she must have enjoyed the rest of it. Personally, I enjoyed the first half of the series, first 4 or 5 episodes more than the latter episodes. I felt it did get feel slightly shortchanged by that final episode, which of course is setting it up for another series, but I just felt it's a bit weak. I thought, rather than a climax, I just thought it felt weak towards the latter episodes. And of course, the end of the series really is the start of something, as the newly recruit or new now Marines get an insight into what may be their first deployment by a news item at the end of the series, of course. But overall, I think I found elements of this so samey. We've seen it all before. I've seen it all before. If you're brand new, if you're a teenager and you're watching these things for the first time, you'll probably get more out of it than an old grizzled watcher like me will. Of course, the training elements side of this and the nasty bastard sergeants and all this sort of thing have been done many, many times before. All very familiar, as I said, certainly if you've watched lots of these things. So it's all about the characters, really, and as they're put through the process. And for me, I never really cared that much about them, which is a shame. None of the characters really... I felt deeply enough to care about what happened to him. I wanted him to do it, but don't get me wrong, I wanted him to do okay, but I wasn't really invested totally in it. And even the subplot of the Marine mother, for instance, just never really hits as a story, and it's sort of, despite potential, it never, again, it doesn't quite go all in for me. It doesn't get down to the gritty part of it for me. Of course, the queer element's interesting, of course it is, but like the story itself, I never felt that went too all in either, and sort of hit me on an emotional sort of level. I wanted them to come through it, of course I did. I wanted a happy ending, as I always do, and there's some poignancy in this, some sad things happen in it, but not overly so. As I said, I think most of everyone more or less comes through unscathed. Hopefully better, nicer people, a nice ending. But I just didn't see anything that sort of grabbed me throughout the 8 episode series. It was an okay distraction, don't get me wrong, and I didn't mind watching it, but it wasn't anything special for me. But as I said, others are far keener and kinder on this than I am. Perhaps they're younger and not seen as much as I have, or perhaps I'm a hard taskmaster, I don't know. But Rotten Tomatoes, 90% approval, 39 critics, 35 were fresh. Just 4 rotten, so there was 4. I'll make that 36 fresh. I can't be rotten on this, I've got to be fresh on it. The website's consensus: Miles Hates' terrific performance has the right stuff in Boots, a likeable dramedy that explores masculinity and queerness to powerful effect. Yeah, I thought the performance was okay, it was alright, but I just thought generally they were adequate. I didn't get carried away with any of them. Metacritic, their average 73 out of 100 based on 21, 17 positive, 4 were mixed, so we've got a bit of a mix. So I'm going to be positive. I can't not be positive on this, so I'm going to make that 18 positive. Rotten Tomato audience like it, 90%. Metacritic users, Joe Public, like the Rotten Tomato audience, 6.6 out of 10. That's all good. Internet Movie Database, 14,000 scores and reviews, and it's getting a 7.9 out of 10, which is pretty impressive. And I can't see that. I can't perhaps see it edging over 8, but I think it's going to stay in the high 7s throughout its lifetime on Internet Movie Database. And it's far too high for me, as you've probably gathered. I'm not going to go mad on it. I liked it. I would sort of recommend you watch it if you like these sort of things. So I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10, which is my sort of basic watchable level of a series. But as I say, I wasn't blown away by too much in this, and I did find the latter parts a little less interesting than the early parts of the series. That's my thoughts, guys. Let me know what yours are. It'd be great to hear them about this or anything to do with film and TV, of course. Leave us your comments below on YouTube, or you can contact me through my various socials. Or if you do want to help promote the channel, or you want to shout out, stuff like that, there are ways of doing that. All you ever have to do is keep watching and listening.
Hi again, hope you enjoyed the feature, guys. Thanks for watching. Please, if you did enjoy the content, please give us a thumbs up, and if you've not already done so, press that subscribe button. If you've not already subscribed, that'd be wonderful. It's free to subscribe, absolutely free. Also, check out my social media links if you want to follow me on TikTok, Instagram, X, Facebook. They'll all be in the description below. And my special thanks to supporters of the channel, yes, Piat6505, who have an eBay shop selling film and TV memorabilia, including posters, books, magazines. There'll be a link again in the comments section. And if you're into your football, don't forget my football stuff on Manchester City for general football fans, but mainly City fans, of course. Or if you know someone who might enjoy that, give them a kick in my direction. I'll be very, very grateful. And as ever, guys, comments on this feature is wonderful. Anything to do with film and TV is always very, very welcome. It's great to talk film and TV. I thank you guys for your support. Stay safe, everyone.